I work for my family business. We create educational products like the ones that you can see behind me. We've been around for over 100 years. Today, we decided to sue the president and the Trump administration over the reciprocal tariff policy. Not only do we believe these tariffs are illegal, but we believe that the economic implications of these tariffs could be catastrophic. And that's why we've decided to stand up. We're asserting our rights on behalf of the 500 employees who work for us and the thousands of other small and medium-sized businesses who are affected. And so that's just what I wanted to share with you today. I just wanted to let people know that we're out there and we're doing something and we're trying
What's up, beautiful people? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Thank you for stopping by, supporting your girl on this channel. So guys, all credits goes to the creators in these videos. And in today's video, okay, Montana farmers are suing the Trump administration. Basically, farmers. Yeah, you heard that right. And many of those farmers voted for you-know-who. Now, they are taking legal actions against his administration. The question is, are they even going to win? But anyways, why? Because of tariffs, right? So here is the deal, right? I'm sure it's no longer news. Permit me to school you a bit. So the Trump administration hits China with tariffs. China hits back hard, slapping tariffs on American agricultural products, right? And that meant that Montana farmers lost major buyers for things like wheat, barley, and soybeans. And the prices of their crops plummeted, the profits shrank, and many small farmers, it was not just about money, because I mean many of them is just about survival, right? I actually watched a video when one Montana farmer said, "We were promised prosperity, but now we got bankruptcy now." A group of them has filed a lawsuit claiming that the tariffs destroyed their livelihood and that the government has failed to protect small farmers. Let me know what you think in the comment section, because they had it coming. Let's watch these videos.
Trump's policies have been so bad and so damaging for the economy that even his own voters in red states are having to sue him to get him to stop. The latest group to enjoin themselves in a lawsuit, or at least attempt to, is the Montana Farmers Union. Montana, by the way, is in fact a red state, and farmers overwhelmingly as a demographic voted for Donald Trump. And now those same people, red voters in a red state who helped put this guy in power, have been so screwed by the policies of the man they picked that they're now having to sue him to put an end to the trade war. But here's the thing. This lawsuit that the Montana Farmers Union has, or is attempting to enjoin, was not originally filed by them. In fact, the original lawsuit was filed by the Blackfeet Nation in the state of Montana for Trump's trade policies that are in violation, they claim in the suit, of the native treaties that they have had in place since the 1700s. And of course, they argue that no, you do not have the administrative authority to put these tariffs in place, but more importantly, we're also exempted from all of this due to the treaties that have been in place for over 200, almost 250 years. So here's what the Blackfeet Nation lawsuit says. The suit claims the tariffs violate a 1794 treaty exempting the tribes along the United States-Canadian border from being taxed or levied on goods between the nation. It also challenges the Trump administration's ability to use emergency powers to bypass Congress to impose tariffs. Now, the suit that the Montana Farmers Union has filed in conjunction with this, attempting to enjoin themselves into this lawsuit, says this. Because of the president's tariffs, their goods, talking about the farmers, will be more expensive to export, which will result in reduced profits and lost customers. Even worse, farms and ranches that have been in families for generations must be sold simply because the president's isolationist and unlawful approach is, incongruous with the international market with which these farmers and ranchers have been dealing and relying upon for decades. Montana Farmer Union members do not have robust markets in the United States for the crops they grow, and those markets cannot be developed overnight. In other words, this is our biggest trading partner. They're buying $839 million worth of goods from us each year. $839 million. And now that entire industry that is propping up a good portion of Montana farmers, poof, gone. And you think, oh, we could just sell this to people in the United States instead that already weren't buying all of it?
So as a Nebraskan, the farmers predominantly voted for the current president. They also voted for Pete Ricketts and Deb Fisher, who aren't doing anything for them. And China announced that they're not going to buy corn and soybeans today, or I think they've done it over the last couple days. I think it was last week, because of the trade war their current president that they voted for decided to wage, a trade war with China. They're not going to buy your goods. And I know that a lot of you have said that you want aid. Well, as a taxpayer who lives in Nebraska who did vote for the right candidate, I don't think I want my tax dollars going to bail you out. I think you actually should sit in your decisions and feel the effects. You want us to. Every time we vote for a Democrat and you say they're horrible. So at this point in time, I'm going to tell you the same thing you say to me back. You wanted to vote for this. Now you get to deal with the consequences. And I don't think I should have to bail you out, because I work hard for my money too. And my dollars shouldn't bail out your bad decisions. So yeah, today I'm telling you, the farmers here in Nebraska, you need to deal with your own decisions. It's your consequences, not mine, and I don't want to pay for them.
Hey everyone, let's talk about why farmers across the country are suing the Trump administration. The lawsuit on March 13th alleges that the U.S. Department of Agriculture unlawfully froze funds, and plaintiffs argue that the administration's actions violate the Constitution's separation of powers and the Administrative Procedure Act by refusing to disperse congressionally allocated funds. Now, we may know, some of you may already know, farming was already tough before Trump stepped back into office, thanks to things like the Russian-Ukraine war that was very disruptive to agriculture. Russia, supplies a huge portion of the world's fertilizer, and after sanctions, prices skyrocketed, up 50% or more in many cases. Ukraine also is a major wheat supplier, so we saw its exports disrupted, leading to global price hikes. It's a commodity, so farmers couldn't cash in because of rising costs and unstable markets. Also, climate change making everything worse. So farmers were already battling floods, droughts, extreme heat, hurricanes, pests, and just unpredictable rainfall. It's never been harder to grow food as it has been in the recent years. And then Trump made it even worse with three major failures. First, he froze USDA grants. Farmers signed contracts for funding under the IRA Act and the Farm Bill. They planned their whole year out, bought equipment, and made investments. But now, the funds are frozen, and farmers are left with bills they can't pay. Second, he killed USAID food programs. The U.S. used to buy surplus crops from American farmers and send them to starving families. This wasn't just a humanitarian effort. It also gave farmers a stable income. But Trump shut it down, leaving them stranded yet again. Third, his tariffs are backfiring again. I say again because he tried to do this in his first term. Tariffs on Canada and Mexico mean those countries hit back with retaliatory tariffs, cutting off key markets for American farmers. Some of these markets may never come back. If farmers want fertilizer from Canada, which they have plenty of, Trump taxes them extra with tariffs. And now let's talk about the latest betrayal. The Trump administration just agreed to help restore Russia's access to the world market for agriculture and fertilizer exports. So the EU banned Russian fertilizers because they know Russia will certainly weaponize them. The EU has no intention of lifting the ban. Meanwhile, 90% of U.S. fertilizer is imported, and the majority comes from Canada. Instead of supporting American farmers by encouraging, domestic production or better trade deals with Canada, Trump is cutting deals with Russia. Surprise, surprise. This also undermines U.S. leverage in trade talks with Canada. We could have used fertilizer imports as negotiation leverage, but Trump's team just gave that away. Now, thousands of farmers are fighting back with this class action lawsuit. They're demanding action on USDA grants, USAID, and tariffs. Even in Trump's first term, his tariffs were such a disaster that he had to bail farmers out with billions in taxpayer dollars. I don't know how many of you are aware of that, but it's not very efficient if you ask me. Biden did come in and fix that mess. Now, Trump is making the same mistakes all over again. Our farmers deserve better. They deserve policies that support them, not deals that benefit Russia at their expense. Basically, your prayers around your dinner table thanking farmers doesn't suffice, but your votes for Trump directly and negatively impacted the very people you pray for and claim to support. Please spread the word. This matters. Thank you.
Because these farmers are saying that this lawsuit is not just about money. that it's the future of farming communities, that it's generation and generation of hard work and labor, hundreds and thousands of years of labor, and it's been passed on from one generation to the other, because some are filing for bankruptcy, and they will be they will have to sell their farmland if they have no choice. So they are saying that it's the future of farming communities, not just in Montana, but across rural America. They are saying it's about broken promises. But please, guys, which of the promises did he break? Because he exactly told you he was going to do all these things. So, anyways, guys, what do you think? Do you think that the government should have done more to shield farmers from this trade war? Or do you think they had it coming? Let me know what you think in the comment section. If you have found value in this video, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. I'll see you in my next video. Mental health is important. Have a beautiful week ahead.